The Davis family, I think, is rich because of. Remember, he didn't come from money. Like, wasn't I don't remember what the fuck Al Davis did, but he wasn't.
He ended up owning a team. Yeah,
like he's the one family. Because remember, they always talk about them being broke, where they can barely make payroll.
He wasn't in business before. He was a coach.
Yeah, wasn't he in football? Like he was.
Yeah.
Their money is football, and that's why they've had. And now they're probably fine now because they're in fucking Vegas.
Oh no, Mark Davis. The fact that he could walk around with that goofy haircut. It's like, hey, Buster Brown, man, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Do you think he's like Bob Keeshan, Captain Kangaroo? Those are the only two people ever that wore that haircut. We're proud of it, right? I mean, Mark Davis, he is living the dream, this guy. He's got babes. He owns the Las Vegas Raiders. But he seems like, honestly, I saw a feature on him on 60 Minutes. And, maybe everybody looks and goes, holy shit, how did that fat fuck get so rich? I mean, Aaron seemed like somebody that would be interesting to talk to because on the surface, observing this guy, he seems like somebody that understands how fucking lucky he was
to
be in that position.
The time! Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Thursday edition, excuse me, of the Defo Show. And glad to have you guys with us. We will have a trivia challenge later on. You trivia fanatics out there, Chronics, and anybody else is invited to play. I guess it's a little hard to get in, but nonetheless, we will have the trivia challenge with Dave Gurggles Gergely. Tony Segreto, who we weren't able to connect with yesterday because he was a little under the weather, is going to join us on Friday with his Texas Roadhouse Old School with Tony Segreto. So we have that, and we'll have the professor as well. But the trivia challenge coming up shortly here. You can jump on board if you want to play, 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Always have to pull the first three numbers after the out of my ass, Louie. It's a fortunate byproduct of having given out 8 million phone numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
That was always a big scare, when you changed radio stations, that you were going to either give out the call letters for the old station going out of a segment or give out the old phone number.
Yep.
And then there have been a couple of times I started to give out my cell phone number on it.
Yep.
Have you ever done that, Lumi?
Oh, you have. And I've had to be like, no.
No, that's 288-47.
That's no.
It would only be 100 combinations that people would have to try to get the rest of it. And then they could start calling me going, hey, you think the Giants should make a trade and get a running back? It's not really like that, though. I mean, if you're doing sports, it's one thing. People identify you and they say, hey, you're that announcer guy. And they start asking you a few sporting questions. I don't think that's anywhere near as annoying as when you tell somebody you're a doctor of some sort. Like my friend Dr. Jerry, he'll tell somebody, well, I'm a podiatrist. And they'll say, well, I got a little thing going on with my heart.
Oh,
You're like, well, I mean, he went to medical school. He specified an area of medicine because it's not easy to be, I guess, a general practitioner has to know a little bit about everything, but they don't necessarily have to deal with every problem at the level where they're going to actually solve the problem. They may be able to delegate this and say, well, you got a heart problem? I tell you what, go see Mo Schwartz over there. He's a great doctor. But not annoying at all. So I would be able to deal with it. Right now, I'm being bombarded by real estate agents. They're calling me 10 times a day during the show. Very aggressive. My friend, who's a realtor, says these are bottom dwellers, where your house comes. We had it listed, and then we had to take it off because it just wasn't going well with the person that was listing the house. There wasn't a whole lot of action. So we wanted to move on to somebody else that would be maybe a little bit more aggressive and more effective. And as soon as that listing came off, I'm like, God, Lubie.
Yeah, that's
vultures. You're a realtor. You would know this.
Had on the market for 2 years, but they're not really trying to sell. They understood where the market was, and they're like, all right, if someone wants to buy our house for some ridiculous number, we'll sell it to them. But they're not aggressive. They're just not. So a couple of times it's lapsed the listing because we don't do a lot of showings. I don't, and they're not like, we don't have a sign or anything. They're not where you are. Like, you'd like to really sell your house. They're not. Like, if they sell it, they're cool. If they don't sell it, they're cool. So a couple of times it's lapsed just because it's not front of mind. We'll go weeks without a showing. So
weeks, how about months?
Yeah, we've now gone months. We were doing like a showing every few weeks.
One person showed up. They were in a wheelchair, and we have 4 flights of stairs in the house.
Oh God! Yeah.
Not to laugh at the person's unfortunate condition, but wow, I mean, they're obviously not going up and down 4 flights of stairs every time they want to take a shit. I mean, give me a break.
So
Although there are bathrooms on multiple floors.
I mean, it should in the whatever. People don't read the listing half the time. So, anyways, well, so when it lapses, Ken and his mom will get like inundated with real estate agents calling, and that's when we're like, oh fuck, I guess it lapsed. So I have to like get it back up, and it's like, I don't know what it's just weird because every realtor thinks they're the magical realtor. The reality is it's just about price and need. It's not like realtors do the job, but it's really about the property and the timing as much as it is about the realtor.
Sure.
Unless the realtor's not fielding calls, because our realtors that suck at communication and suck getting back to you, yes, that is the realtor. Like they're just not helping you facilitate a deal. But most of the time, it's like the market and pricing. That's really what sells a house.
Yeah, location. Also a big factor, which we happen to have, just for my money, an outstanding location. I don't know. You would dream about living across the street from the beach where you got a clear path. Just walk through. There's no place to park, so the beach is usually empty. And I often ask myself on days when I don't go over to the beach at any time, what the hell is wrong with you, DeForest? You were Mr. Beach your entire life, and here you are, you're a stone's throw away. Maybe 200 yards away, and boom, you're hardly ever going. All right, we're going to get into the trivia challenge. We have a lot of stuff to cover here. The Heat were in action last night. A lot of interesting things. We haven't been too NBA intensive. Lubie and I had a little discussion yesterday. I don't know how you guys felt about that, where we were talking about the three-pointer and the supposed ruination of the game because of the obsession of NBA teams with shooting threes. Is it entertaining to watch? Now, you would much rather, and I would say this is must-see TV, Lubie. I don't know if you caught this.
Okay.
Ja Morant's dunk over Victor Wembanyama. Did you happen
Oh,
to see
shit. He dunked on Wemby. No, I didn't see that at all. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, there have been a lot of sick dunks, including some dunks that were made. Now, this was without opposition in the slam dunk competition in the early days when you had Michael Jordan was involved and Hakeem is dunking. I don't know. Did he ever compete in the slam dunk, Hakeem Olajuwon?
No.
But you had any number of great players
Yeah.
who were known for their
Vince Carter.
athletic and artistic dunks, and they would Dr. J.
Yeah.
I want to say Dr. J was in a slam dunk competition.
Yes.
No,
I think he was. I think he was. I know he came over a little older, but I think he was. The ABA. You would think if anyone did a slam dunk contest, it would be the ABA. You would think that would be something that they did, actually.
You would think that they invented created the slam dunk competition.
Yep.
Anyway, I wish we could show the video of this because it really is worth watching.
You can't.
And I just caught it this morning. I was watching Australian Open tennis most of the night when I fell asleep, and you wake up, and this is a crazy thing. We've talked about it many times and mentioned it. I love when these tennis tournaments are on foreign soil, so to speak, because you get it early in the morning, like 5 in the morning. You got live sports action, and there's a match going on right now involving an American who I had never heard of. A guy named, looks like it's Lerner Tien. Looks to be of Asian descent. Obviously, the name might reflect that. I'm not sure. I've never seen this guy before, right?
Okay.
So he is I'm assuming this is a second-round match with Danil Medvedev, who is one of the top players, top 5 player for a long time. A very, very tough out. He's got the psychological edge over a lot of players because he acts like an idiot out there, even though he seems to be a very cool guy. Seems like one of those guys you would want to know off the court, but on the court, he can be a very menacing Ian Tiriac type of presence. Not like he's rough and tough, like he's going to punch you out when you go to shake hands after the match. But, he does a lot of things that irritate other players. So he wasn't always a favorite of the players on the tour, but I think they've come to respect the guy because he's a dogged competitor, and he looks like Ichabod Crane out there. He doesn't appear to be the kind of guy that's going to be an overwhelming difficulty to defeat, especially at the top level, and yet he just fights and comes up with shit. He has a variety of shots, and yet it's not like he's just slicing and dicing. He's not a Vegematic player. He's pounding the shit out of the ball and always comes up with big, much fits the description of being a clutch player. He comes through very often. Maybe not Djokovic-esque, but close to it. in terms of making clutch plays, key plays when it looks like he's down and out. And another one of those guys that can win when he's not on his best stuff. So he's playing this another Bob Dylan special, right? Another complete unknown, at least for my money. They just had a 45-shot rally in the second set tiebreaker. You imagine, Lubie?
Jesus.
I go 3 shots in an exchange with Dr. Jerry, and I'm pale to the fence, exhausted. 45-shot rally at the professional level at the Australian Open. You have to be kidding me. They'll be carrying him out in a body bag after that, at least one of the guys. So I don't know what the outcome of the set was yet, but this guy Tien, he won the first set and maybe pulling off a major upset. So there's been a lot of that early on at the Australian Open, a lot of major upsets. The guy that made a big name for himself in the first round when he beat Rublev lost João Fonseca, the Brazilian. And he ended up losing a 5-setter in the second round to, I believe this guy's an Italian, believe it or not, Sonego. Do you have good knowledge of flags, like what country's flags represent?
Oh, no. Shirley's actually pretty decent at it. I'm horrendous. I have no idea what flag is what.
I have some, ability to identify what country the flag represents just from watching tennis. And yet, even though I've seen it a million times, when they put the little flag up next to the guy from the country that he's from, I don't know. I'm assuming that this guy, the red, white, and green, that's Italy, isn't it? Or is it Mexico?
No fucking clue. I have no idea. Red, white, and green.
Red, white, and green.
Yeah. That feels like Italy, but it feels like, doesn't Ireland have that? That's the other thing too. A lot
of similarities.
Those countries have a lot of the same colors and the same scheme. So
Australia and English get confused a little bit. I don't know. I probably should have paid more attention in social studies.
Yeah.
But was there ever a test on flags representing countries? Did they have that?
No, I thank goodness never had that. They did geography, which was I was a
kids have any idea what this is, Lubie?
I would think kids are worse than we are. Kids barely
Anyway, yeah. So that guy's Cinderella run. I don't know that you could say it ended. That he certainly put himself on the map. Even our good friend Harvey Fialkov, who I consider to be an extremely qualified tennis commentator, when he puts stuff up on his Facebook page anyway about what's going on, and very few people do. You would think that there would be more interest in the sport, Libby. Is that a fair statement?
There was.
Here in Florida, especially, where you could play tennis year-round any time of the day or night.
It used to be it was nationally right up there with – it was like football wasn't a big deal till like the late 90s, 2000s. Tennis was a huge deal. After baseball, it was like tennis, baseball, and boxing in my youth. And then like basketball, Jordan, Magic, and Bird brought basketball to high prominence. But tennis was always a big deal, and it still has. Look, since the American men sucked, because American women were still doing good until a few years ago.
Better. They're not top tier, top, but they're not far off at this point. And there are a lot of them that are very good. It
was like the 2000s, like when Federer, Nadal, and then Joker took over. That made tennis mean less in America. It shouldn't have, because they're among the greats.
Yeah, Connors, Sampras, McEnroe, and then that whole
was the thing.
Power structure disappeared. Yeah.
And then it turned into Agassi and Sampras. Like, you had Americans ruling for most of tennis. And then when the Americans sort of fell off, it like made it matter less here, which it shouldn't have, because those were all icons of the sport. They spoke great English. A lot of them lived in America a lot of the time. So, but yeah, it was for some reason, like in the 2000s on, tennis fell off here. Even though I
would have liked to have seen that. Yeah. All right, so there was a lot of positive video. Just real quickly here. So the Heat go down to the Lakers last night, 117-108.
Yes, they did.
Tyler Hero continues to just light it up on the scoreboard, as he had 34 points in a ball game last night.
He played well. He's the only consistent player literally every night. It's the funniest thing. Bam has
not amazing, and this Joe Cronin guy didn't want him.
Yeah, yes, that's the one that he didn't want. When even Scoot Henderson, who people bring up, would have had nothing to do with the trade they had that pick regardless, and they're going to take Henderson. Even Henderson sucks. Like, no one on the Blazers is good, and most of them don't even play. Ayton doesn't play. Williams is borderline retired because he had some major ass injury. Like, Brogdon was traded immediately. Like, none from either of those trades, they got nothing of any use. And Tyler Hero will be an all-star, and a lot of people have him as a top 10 MVP candidate because the Heat are from the 6 to 8 range and have nothing else. Like Bam Adebayo is falling off a fucking cliff. Like every once a week, he gives you a decent game, but he played 30 something minutes last night. They don't have a real big. Like Anthony Davis is old now. Like there's no reason why Bam shouldn't put up 20 and 10. He had 10 and 5, 10 and 4.
Pretty
like
weak.
what the fuck? Like, and he has a max deal. Like a max guy should have. And I've been all over Bam his whole career because he's the one that was supposed to do what Hero's doing now. Like he's shown little flashes, but he's never been consistent for a whole season. He'll give you he's not even doing it this year. The first half he sucked. Like he's not playing good basketball. He plays good defense and he's a smart team player. But like this idea that they need to build around Bam and Hero, Bam's like a third or fourth guy. Like it's hard to build around Bam when you don't know what the fuck
Bam Adebayo or Hartenstein, who's now with Oklahoma City.
I'd rather have Bam, but I bet you Hartenstein's putting up better numbers.
Yeah.
like that's the weird thing.
In terms of asserting himself, see that seemed to be the issue with Adebayo, who's a very intense player when he's on the court. But does he assert himself? I mean, there was that period there where he was getting criticized because he was sort of in la-la land. They'd throw the ball into him. He'd be just outside the key, and he'd turn his back to the basket and throw the ball back outside. And you're like, wait a minute. I mean, at least make them think that you're going to do something. All right, so anyway, we want to get to Dave Gurggles Gergely on a trivia challenge. The Lakers beat the Heat 117-108 last night. And Adam Silver says there will be some changes to the three-point shot. Or at least the way that basketball is structured because of the absolute obsession of teams with shooting threes. Now acknowledging that there's something wrong. I don't know exactly how they fix it. I don't know that I buy Andy's thing that you should make it a 2.5-point shot. That would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it?
It's just weird math. They're not going to do it. I mean, that's
106.5 to 97 and a hook.
I love Andy, but that's math. The math is weird. I mean, they're not doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't see why they can't move it back. Like it's becoming the point of where it is because it was a tough shot. It's now an easy shot, right? Okay, make it tougher again.
I don't know that it's easy. I mean, the percentages aren't great.
No, but they shoot it enough where it's worth it to shoot it. So make it where it's not. Make it where you're really earning that fucking. Make it like 30 feet. I don't give a shit. Like make it far enough where there is a differentiation from 2 to 3. There's got to be a differentiation. Like and right now,
might have to eliminate the corner also. Which would change the way teams play. Now the negative outcome of that is that if you don't have a lot of three-point shots being taken in the game or perimeter shots, now you're going to have that logjam inside and around the basket, which led to that dreadful basketball that we saw in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Where, you were looking at 81-77. It's funny, when you watch the Michael Jordan documentary, some of the scores, you're thinking, wait a minute, here's a high-wire act like Michael Jordan, an offensive juggernaut, and they're beating the Pistons 91-84.
It's like halftime scores now.
Yeah. But definitely check this out. Look up the video of Ja Morant dunking on Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, I have watched it. It's nuts.
Who gets like 20 blocks a game. And he goes up to try and block this shot, which Morant initiated almost from half court. He was on the left side of the court around the half court stripe. When he starts making a move to the basket, he goes all the way to the basket. Wembanyama meets him just like inside the circle there that's in the paint. And he just jams it right over Wembanyama. That took balls and was just I mean, if you saw more of that and less of guys bricking threes, maybe the NBA would have a resurgence of its popularity. And then I was looking a little bit at we'll get into this later on after the trivia challenge. But see, I was stunned to see that the Bills were underdogs at home to the Baltimore Ravens, Lubie. I didn't think that. Yeah, well, yesterday they were 1-point dogs. I don't know.
Really? They're at home. They're literally 9-0 this year at home. That can't be.
Yeah, but they did get crushed in Week 4 by the Ravens, 35-10.
Yeah,
they gave up like close to 300 yards rushing in that game to the Ravens, 87 of which came on the very first play when Derrick Henry ran for like 87 yards. It was a 199-yard game by Henry, 87 on the first snap, 271 overall they gave up. They were not particularly strong against the run all year long. They ranked 18th. And they gave up 4.5 yards per carry and had 62. This was in the bottom third of the league, 62 runs of 10 yards or more.
Look,
again,
when we realized this was going to be the game, I assumed Baltimore would win just because of the combination of talent they have, and Buffalo really doesn't have a lot of talent. Josh Allen, that's why people are giving him so much MVP credit, is because he's doing it with fucking nothing. But then I found out I was in Buffalo. Look, I get it. Both of these teams are built for the cold, but as you know, as someone who was in New York in the part that's fucking nuts for college, like Buffalo is not like any place on the planet, let alone
No.
across in America. Like,
It's Arctic tundra. It really is.
it just is, and their fans are fucking insane. Like a Buffalo home game is a very different animal. Like, I don't know, and they literally are 9-0 at home. Like, there's something to be said for that.
Because nobody in their right mind would want to go to Buffalo. You can get chicken wings anywhere now. They're all very good.
Exactly.
What a wicked cheesesteaks. Yeah, you get all the chicken wings.
Yes.
But so that was the one outside of Niagara Falls, which once you go there, you go, wow, that looks great. It's kind of like the Grand Canyon, Lubie. Did you ever do the Grand Canyon?
No, I haven't. But I've heard you see it. It's a pain in the ass to get to. You get there, you're like
Hoover Dam, same thing.
We've seen it.
There are no real worthwhile sightseeing destinations in Las Vegas except the casinos.
Casinos, yeah.
That's it. You have great restaurants all over the place. You have some local restaurants, but you have to really seek them out. Or have some knowledge of it. A little research doesn't hurt there. And outside of that, I mean, going to the Hoover Dam is something you do when you're completely busted and you can't use the ATM machine again. Hey, sweetheart, you want to go see the Hoover Dam? I always wanted to do that.
Exactly.
Want to parachute into the Grand Canyon? Yeah, I always wanted to ride a helicopter over there. Yeah, go fuck yourself with that. Red Rock Canyon? Yeah, let's go rock climbing. That would be something you would get roped into, Lubie, with the lovely Shirley.
100%. My wife definitely wants to do those things. We haven't been to Vegas, thank God.
Okay.
Or I would be roped into. She wants to do dune buggying in the desert. That's the thing she's talked about. She knows I'm not trying to rock fucking climb. That's a lot. Yeah. But dune buggying is another thing I have no interest in doing. That
dune buggying maybe down the strip, although it'd be hard to get anywhere.
No, she wants to do it in the desert over fucking mounds of.
I would rather swim in the Bellagio fountains. What are you talking? Waste my time in the desert? Get out of here. That's for dead bodies from old mafiosos. All right, let's bring in Dave and say hello at least. Dave Gurggles Gergely. There he is. How are you, Gurgs?
Doing fine. I'd rather swim up to the in the pool blackjack table. It seems.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was brilliant, wasn't it? Marty the Party Science was passing out green chips like they were breath mints. And you were hot there sitting in the pool, were you not? Didn't you come away with some money?
No, I didn't play much blackjack. I just watched your buddy play blackjack, but that was just a great trip. So we got to do it for 75 maybe.
Well, what are the odds on that?
Well, I like the odds. I like the good die young. You'll live a long time.
That's for sure. All right. What have you been doing with yourself, Dave Gurggles Gergely? We're waiting
I've been
just Lubie here.
I've got setting up some tournaments for myself to participate in. The construction here is going terrific at the golf course. I think we're a little bit ahead of schedule, and it's going to be spectacular when it reopens. But other than that, I've been just doing my questions for this show, trying to stump the guys out there.
Has it been a redesign also?
Oh yeah, it's going to be special. It really is something special. So, and we'll wait and see when the finished product gets here. But and I'll be at Landlubbers tonight for Lubie.
Oh, good. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Let's run a couple of very important messages, and then we'll get into the trivia challenge here. In the meantime, you can dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Lubie's got the Landlubbers gift certificate that he's giving away. And, of course, Dave will be in for Lubie tonight. The professor and Lubie run an outstanding, probably the best of the live trivia competitions that you have out there. I think we're qualified to say that because even though he's our guy, I don't know. Everybody really raves about the job they do there. So should be a lot of fun. So get out there to Landlubbers tonight for the trivia competition featuring special guest MC, the great Dave Gurggles Gergely. All right, back with the trivia challenge in a moment. Now that.
The time.
Thank you, Johnny. It's 8:28.
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante, the Belmont's now 1.8 miles. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on The Defo Show.
Hi, welcome back to the show. In the immortal words of the late, great Mills Lane, boxing referee, and also was a judge in Reno, Nevada, where he resided. But right now, he's resting in peace. Let's get it on. It's time to get it on. We got Dave Gurggles Gergely. You're ready for the trivia challenge. You can jump on board at 954-417-0070. So without hesitation and dedication to our good friend, our dear friend, the Polyman, original creator of the game, we begin with Dave Gurggles Gergely and some
Easy baseball. This player, on how he helped the Cardinals win the pennant, recalled, people don't know this, but I helped the Cardinals win the pennant in 1964. I came down with hepatitis, and I found out later the trainer injected me with it.
Oh, no.
Was it our good friend Bob Euchre, Bob Barker, Fess Parker, or Magic Marker?
I got to roll the random phone scrambler here. A friend of the show, but relatively new to especially this version. I think this may be a first-time starter here in a maiden race with a Pletcher Monster. George, you're on the trivia challenge. Good morning, George.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, South Florida.
Good morning.
First-time caller, long-time listener.
Glad to have you in the game. You have do you have an answer for that question?
I think it's the Euchre.
You got it.
Very good.
Well done, George. Welcome aboard. Call us every week if you can. All right, George, this is a true or false question. 1 point, and it's golf. Believe it or not, actor and comedian Bob Hope made a hole-in-one at the age of 90 at the Canyon Country Club in Palm Springs, California. True or false?
False.
No, that's true.
True? Wow.
That's true. He was an avid golfer. Yep.
Was it a
Oh,
pitch and
wow.
putt? What was it?
It was a 140-yard hole, and he probably used a driver at that time. But yeah.
Probably use a sledgehammer. What are you talking?
Was it a putt course or
No,
what?
it was a regular course, George.
Up 20. Right on the money with this shot.
Unbelievable.
All right. One going for 4.
All right, George, 3-point question. Let's go to the NFL for you. Who was the first running back in history to carry the ball 400 times in a season?
Jesus.
Here are the choices. Was it Earl Campbell, John Riggins, George Rogers, or James Wilder?
Good question. The last guy, I think, was Ricky.
Campbell.
Campbell, Earl. Would be a
No,
good
the first
guess.
guy, believe it or not,
Riggins?
Tampa Bay Bucks, James Wilder.
Wilder.
Wow.
Oh, thank
Yes, I would
you. All
not
right,
have-
going for 6 points here, George, to set the pace.
All right, let's get this one a little more current for you. And we'll go to the NBA. You were the guys on the Defo and Lubie were discussing three-pointers. On this date in history, January 16th, 2019, so that's 6 years ago, Golden State set 2 franchise records. First quarter, they had 10 3-pointers, and they also scored 51 points in that first quarter. And it all came versus
Ooh.
Sacramento,
Ooh, that
Detroit,
has to be-
the LA Clippers, or the Denver Nuggets.
What do you say, George?
He says Clippers.
Clippers.
You said
Clippers.
Clippers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the Denver Nuggets. They won 142 to 111.
Well, thanks for playing, George. We hopefully
All
you
right,
join
good.
us next
Good.
week, friend.
And a little new blood into the program there, so that was good. Unfortunately, it's spilled all over the sheets and the floor, and there's plenty of evidence that this is not the easiest of games to compete in, right? That's why we have so much respect for our standout players. But what we love when new people are infused into the program here and give it a shot. 954-417-0070. I started to say 866 something. I think I was going to give out the number of my insurance company that I can't get a hold of. 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play the game. I know one thing. Oh, by the way, did you happen to be out at Gulfstream yesterday for the 4th race, Dave Gurggles Gergely? Because I know you
I
would
believe I was. Why?
Did you see the name of the winner?
No.
Something we've been doing for the last several years and always wanted to get involved in. Pirate Radio.
Oh, yeah.
Pirate Radio is the name of the winner. Beat 2 6 to 5 shots.
$3 double.
Yeah, very nice. I mean, you would have had to take a little taste on that if you were in radio for most of your life or professional life. And actually, yeah, I guess it would be the majority of my life doing radio. Pirate radio. That was always a thing where, hey, somebody's got a pirate radio station and it's bleeding right through to that station out there. They're putting out Cuban propaganda. All right. Let's get into our next set of questions with Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Okay. College hoops. This coach, after his center got just 1 rebound the entire game, said to the player, "Great job, Johnny. You out-rebounded a dead man by 1. So, buddy, Abe Lemons, Chet Lemon, Jack Lemon, or Meadowlark Lemon?
All right, roll it, Lubie. Mike, you're on the trivia challenge. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. That's an A.
Correct, sir. Very nice. 1 point going for 2.
Olympics, Mike. True or false? Believe it or not, pigeon shooting was once an Olympic sport. True or false?
True.
True. Yes.
That's right.
Good job.
1900 Paris Games, the last time they had it.
Actually shot live birds.
Yep.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Oh,
They're just shooting fucking birds.
What are you talking about, Kirk? It's a good thing they moved on from that. All right. Did he get that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did. 3-1
He
question.
did.
4 for 5.
All right, baseball. Who was the only Dodger to win the All-Star Game MVP twice?
Oh, wow.
Was that Mike Piazza, Sandy Koufax, Raul Mondesi, or Steve Garvey?
Koufax seems too easy.
Mondesi.
That's what I would have said.
Honestly, he's the off the board one, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Steve Garvey, 74 and 78.
yeah.
He's going to be Garvey or Koufax. Yeah, those are the
I figured it wasn't Garvey because too obvious of a name.
Too
So I
easy.
went with Mondesi and I got
Yep.
completely zamboozled.
I would have said Mondesi too.
Going
All right.
for 7, Mike,
Yes.
and the pace will be set by you.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the NHL. In 1952, the Blackhawks player Bill Mosienko, and there's a horse named after him that runs at Aqueduct, scored the fastest hat trick in NHL history, 21 seconds to score the entire hat trick.
Wow.
And it came versus whom?
Ooh, the Gump.
The Red Wings, the Bruins, the Rangers, or the Leafs?
I thought you were going to name the goalies.
Let's go Leafs.
Leafs.
No.
It was the
No.
Rangers, New York Rangers.
Oh, it could have been the Gump.
I think you may be in the finals.
What year was that? 1950 something?
That was 52.
Probably no, too soon for the Gump to be a New York Ranger. All right, very good. You stick around, Mike. It's possible that either George or Mike might be in the finals, although Mike at least got to the second tier here with 2 points. Gurggles, and you can dial us up. We'll play a few more. 954-417-0070. Gurggles, no doubt. I mean, you live a very relaxed lifestyle, Gurggles. I think things have really fallen into place for you. I'm still in a state of flux with my get out strategy. It keeps getting fucked up one reason or another. But you have it already mapped out, and that's why I think confidently and very comfortably you light up a Perdomo cigar. What, just about every day?
Yeah, well, not every day, but when I get out in the fresh air. Yesterday I had a nice walk, get out on my balcony a little later on, enjoy a Perdomo cigar, and 3 months, exactly 3 months from today, April 16th, I will be catching a 5:30 a.m. Delta flight out of Fort Lauderdale, and with 4 other people heading to Keeneland for 4 days.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, so believe
Allegiant
me, I'll take some
Airlines,
Perdomo
is that
cigars
the,
along. Never been there. You've
It's a
always
Delta.
talked about how great it is.
Oh, no, I love it. I do.
Yeah, so I
It's
will have
racing Nirvana, and you know you have to catch a nice day at least one of the days that you're there because that'll more than make up for any lousy weather. When the weather's not good, it isn't the most pleasant place to be. But overall, the atmosphere and the whole thing, it's kind of like Saratoga, uh, sort of a country version of Saratoga, which Saratoga is country for New Yorkers, but I mean, you're looking out over the track there, and there's horse farms in the background. You actually come in the entranceway and go through the horse farms. It's really a cool scene, and the whole town. That's what they're all about for the entire length of the meet.
Well, we've got a 5-bedroom farmhouse with 140 acres,
Oh,
about
wow.
13 miles from the track, and I'll be smoking a cigar, looking out the back of that pasture there. I'm sure in the evenings with a racing form in one hand and a Perdomo cigar in the other. But you don't have to go all the way.
Is that
to
an
Keeneland to
Airbnb?
get a Perdomo cigar. You can go to 5150 Northwest 167th Street, right off the Palmetto, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go in and say hello to Nick. Say hello to Bruce, the concierge there, who's a retired police officer working for Perdomo now, and he knows a lot about Perdomo cigars. And whether you know a little or a lot, that's the place to go. Call them 305-627-6700. Maybe it's Saturday or Sunday. Well, they're not open on the weekend, but if you go online to www.perdomocigars.com, you can find the retailer near you that sells these great cigars. So this weekend, when Buffalo plays the Ravens, take the under in rushing for the quarterbacks for both teams. I think they're 51 and 50. So I say they're going to go under those yards.
That's
And
excellent.
put a Perdomo cigar in your mouth afterwards.
That's smart.
Gurggles, man. I mean, a lot of Gurggles sightings at the Hard Rock. I get, somebody sending me a message at least once a week. Saw Gurggles at the Hard Rock, man. I don't know if you're going out there that frequently, or maybe you got a double.
No, I haven't been there in a while. I need to. I bet the Bengals under 10.5.
Oh, that's
and
right.
when after they lost their first 4, I bet them over 8.5.
Oh, you get up both?
So they ended up winning 9.
No shit, you hit it on both ways.
Yeah, except I can't find the ticket over 8.5 in my house.
Oh no.
That's what sucks about these future bets.
Yeah.
Right? What do you mean you threw that box out? Imagine if that happened to my friend Dylan Rossi, who he's got it online there, but $480,000 ticket if the Ravens win the Super Bowl, and you can't find the fucking thing.
Oh Jesus.
That's crazy, right? Or you threw out the wrong Powerball ticket, even though
Yeah.
you were about to cash for $1 million, which is a rare. Do you know anybody that's ever hit
No.
for a substantial amount of money on a
Powerball? We
ticket?
both know this guy, and I've done a lot of Larry Little's tournaments. Hollywood Henderson.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He hit it twice in Texas, and
It's
he
a
told
lottery,
me the first time he hit it for $3 million, he wrote $100,000 checks with a note to friends and family saying, "Now never bother me again." So it's probably worth it.
And he had plenty of money, too. All right, let's get back into the game here. Nobody with a total worthy of being in the finals. We'll see if we can establish a little bit of brilliance here in the next couple of players. Here's Dave.
Football. This former Cleveland Browns coach, after a loss, doing his best Ralph Kiner / Norm Crosby impression, said to the reporters, "If you can't make the putts and can't get the man in from second on the bottom of the ninth, you're not going to win enough football games in this league," and that's the problem we had today.
Oh Jesus.
Believe it or not, he said it. Sam Ratigliano, Sammy the Bull Gritano, Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, or American Pharaoh.
All right, we're rolling a scrambler.
God.
A good friend and frequent contributor to the program, the great Andy, joins us here on the show. Andy, how are you, my friend?
Hang on. It's Sammy the Bull Gravano.
Nice. Are you
Give him the
speaking
point.
through an oxygen mask of some type? You okay?
No. Well, I don't sound good.
No, you sound fine.
Sound-
But we
never
just figured maybe you were being
I
helped
never
with
know.
scientific apparatus here.
Oh, all right. They found I got just pulmonary hypertension. I don't feel any better, but they give me Viagra for that, so I walk around with a heart on all day. So, I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
I can do it. All right, you have 1 point, Andy. Going for 2.
All right, Andy, baseball, true or false? Former LA Dodger Adrian Gonzalez, who retired in 2018, is a partner in 11 Jersey Mikes in and around the San Diego area. True or false?
Around the what area?
San Diego.
San Diego.
He played for the Padres.
All right, I'll go, yeah.
True.
It is true.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Way to go, Andy.
specific.
Tied for lead. Look at that.
You are already.
At the pace here and eligible for the sweep. You get this one right.
Let's go.
All right, 3-point question, Andy. Here we go. NFL. In 2001, when Michael Vick was drafted number 1 by the Falcons, which team had the first pick before the Falcons traded up to get Vick?
Oh, God.
Was that the Patriots, the Bengals, the Chargers, or the Lions?
Oh, I used to know this.
Oh, no. I don't. Oh, my God. This is an easy one.
Yeah, I used to know this.
They would compare the two players their entire career.
I think it was the. No, you don't gotta give me the answers, Lubie.
I'm not giving you the answers. I didn't give you anything specific.
I'll go with the Patriots.
No, it's Chargers. Tomlinson and Vic were traded for. Wasn't it the Chargers? No, he said Patriots.
Did he say the Chargers?
He said Patriots. New England
Oh,
Patriots.
it's the Chargers.
Yeah,
So
remember
1 point
Tomlinson.
for 1 point, 3 points for Mike, and none for
We're always
none
compared.
for Andrew.
Yeah. Do we give
Lubie got 3 and I got 2 now. Yeah, Lubie gets the 3.
I don't want it.
Lubie's going to end up at Landlubbers.
I'm plenty of language. I don't need the district. Andy has 2
Okay, here we
points.
go. Let's go to baseball for you. 5-point question. The LA Dodgers had the Rookie of the Year every year from 79 to 1982, and then not another one until 10 years later. Who was that player, Rookie of the Year, 10 years later?
Wow.
Eric Karros, Mike Piazza, Raul Mondesi, or Hideki Nomo?
Oh, Jesus.
Right, so that'd be 1992. Karros might have won. I'll go with Karros.
All
Right,
three.
Eric
won.
Karros. Well done.
All 3 won Rookie of the Year. That's the interesting thing.
Legitimate contender for the championship here
Just
now.
pulled
Andy.
ahead of Lubie.
Good job, Andy.
Yeah,
So you are in the finals.
Lubie
for
did
sure.
a nice job of deducing that it was the Chargers there. And
Oh, you don't remember that? That was like a big deal because until Vic had his shit, they both had a really good career going. So that was like, it was like a trade that was a win-win. Remember, the Chargers were good with Tomlinson and the Falcons were good with Vic. And then Vic had his shit and they're like, oh, that trade didn't work out at all.
Imagine, yeah. It's kind of like the Deshaun Watson deal, usually in those kind of situations. All right. We have Andy with 7. We'll play one more, 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. If you'd like to join us here on the phone lines. Gurggles are stepping out there and doing some gambling speculation, saying take the under on total number of yards rushing
For both
by the two
quarterbacks.
quarterbacks.
I think one is 51, the other's 55.
It's funny, you used to be concerned about like picking who was going to win, even straight up.
Yeah.
And now people just blow by that whole category.
It's too easy.
And they're like, wait a minute, what happened? I'm assuming this was a loss, your prop bet from last week, where you were talking about Jefferson and Nakua getting a catch in each quarter of that game between the
That
Rams.
wasn't me.
That wasn't you? Rams in Minnesota?
No.
Oh, that was a professor. That professor. Was
okay.
Yeah. That was, I'm thinking, where do you even find this shit? I think the only prop bet I've ever cashed on was that one where Footy turned us on to
the halftime show.
The halftime show that Katy Perry is going to open up with Roar. I never was so happy as to see her on the back of that line.
Exactly.
She's either Lafitte Pink Eye, who was in town looking great the other day for that jockey signing that they had to help.
Yeah, I was there. I saw him. Man, Julie Crone, Sandy Hawley. I went up to Renee Douglas, who I told him I remember having Caltech at the Laurel Turf International race that he wanted on. And he said, oh, yeah, I remember that. It was so nice reminiscing with them guys. Wow.
Yeah, he was a tough, hard-nosed rider, Renee Douglas. Came along, many of these guys developed at Calder at what most people thought was like a grade C racetrack and race meet. And yet, when you look at the number of people, Jerry Bailey was an apprentice there. Ramon Dominguez was an apprentice there, and many others really kind of built their foundation at Calder Racecourse during those dreadful summer meets where you could set your watch by that dark cloud that was going to be hovering over the racetrack around 3:00 every afternoon. And if you were on the roof garden, you were thinking, do I continue to smoke this weed or do I get out of the way of this lightning bolt that just struck the stadium? Unbelievable. All right, let's get in one more. And here's Dave, our next set of questions.
All right, golf. This late PGA golfer on his first appearance at Augusta said, wow, the first time I played the Masters, I was so nervous. I drank a bottle of rum before I teed off, and I shot the happiest 83 of my life. Was that Chichi Rodriguez, Choo Choo Coleman, Gary Coleman, or Ronald Coleman?
All right, rolling a random phone scrambler. Here's Lubie. Pat, the great actor Pat, is up next. Pat, how are you?
Hey, guys. I'll go with A.
Good morning, Mr. Pat.
He's correct. Very good.
All right, let's give Pat a thespian question then. Wrestling. Believe it or not, midget wrestler Fuzzy Cupid, prior to entering the world of professional wrestler, played the role of Grumpy in a traveling production of Snow White. True or false?
Wow.
Where do you come up with these? I'll say true.
That's got to be
That is
false.
true.
Oh, that's
That's
true.
true.
Oh, Jesus.
That's true.
Sound like straight Gurggles bullshit.
That sounds so bullshitty.
I mean, it sounded very politically incorrect.
That's 100% correct.
I got a midget wrestler to only play like a dwarf.
Oh my God, it's right.
Where are the woke people out there?
Not here.
That goes out the window Monday anyway. 2 for 2, going for 5.
All right, Pat, let's go back in AFL history. The most consecutive games in the AFL is shared by 3 players. Which of the following was not one of those that shares the record for consecutive games played? George Blanda, Gino Capoletti, Jim Otto, or Bobby Bell?
Bell.
Bobby Bell. Nice.
Yes. Oh,
Bobby
nice.
Bell is correct. Well
Good
done.
job, Pat.
Oh, could it be?
Finals, no matter what. But
Here we go. Sweep
I
Baroni.
think George Blanda won.
You met George
the
Blanda.
Derby.
Oh, at the Derby. Nice.
There we go.
Cool.
All right, golf, Pat, your 5-point question. Last week was the Sony Open Hawaii. What company was the first major sponsor in 1991 in what is now known as the Sony Open in Hawaii? Was that Dole, IBM, Hertz, or United Airlines?
No, let's go with B. As
B.
in boy.
B as in boy?
Yeah.
No, it was United Airlines, D.
I was going to say that. All right. Actually, Pat missed the true false, but it's of little consequence because still ended up.
Pat got it right. We missed it. Pat got it right.
Okay.
Pat got it right. Pat had 5. Pat was on the way to a
Sweep.
sweep and fell short.
Unfortunately, I would have, I mean, it was between Dole and United Airlines, and those were my 2 choices.
All right, you're in the finals, Pat.
All right, yeah, you're going to be in the finals, Pat. We're going to dig up Andy. Well, I don't want to say it that way. We're going to bring Andy back in.
Don't say it like that.
Dig up
We're
Andy.
going to resuscitate Andy.
Oh, God.
That's fuck. Gurggles, give us another buzz about Perdomo Cigars.
Yeah. I mean, folks, it's that time of year. We got the doldrums. Valentine's Day is coming up, so you can buy some cigars for Valentine's Day, but you don't need a reason to go to Perdomo. 5150 Northwest 167th Street, right off the Palmetto, a little bit east of the Home Depot on the south side. They're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Go see Bruce. He'll direct you to the humidor that our late great friend, the Mad Dog, built, and they have a selection of cigars that is second to none. Whether it's a mild, like I've been smoking the Lot 23, or a full-bodied anniversary cigar, whatever you like, they make them perfect one at a time. 305-627-6700 or www.perdomocigars.com. And this weekend, as my Eagles hopefully advance a little bit further, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
Tempted to take the points with the Rams in that game.
Yeah, that's okay. I won't bet that game. I'll just root for my team.
Yeah. Every time you mention a Mad Dog in that spot, I can't help. I can vividly see. I mean, it's an indelible impression. The Mad Dog in that routine that we were doing that people still to this day didn't fully understand, where we were sort of replicating the Jim Rome, Jim Everett exchange.
Yeah, I remember.
ESPN2 had just come out. So I start calling the Mad Dog. What was it? The little Chihuahua or something, right? Some disparaging
Little
reference.
poodle, I think you called him.
Yeah, the French poodle. And so he feigns getting increasingly more incensed, and then he finally says, "How would you like the red end of my lit cigar in your right eyeball, Defo?" and then we feigned like some noise, like we were fighting. Good job done by the producer at the time, a kid named Scotty Mack, and people really thought that we came to blows over that issue about him being a French poodle. All right, we're ready for the finals here. But the Mad Dog, a much beloved character.
Yeah, you and the Mad Dog Fridays. I think Fridays at Shula's, so we're great.
Always enjoyed those shows. It took a little while to loosen him up. He was in the no offense meant, but Joe Zagacki had a different style of doing radio when he was on there with the Mad Dog, and they were very matter of fact about everything. And me, you know how I've always approached it. It's supposed to be a good time. So,
yes.
All right, we're ready for the finals here. Andy versus Pat. Dave's going to throw out a question. Call out your name if you want to answer right away. Nobody answers right away. We offer multiple choice. First person to call out his name gets first choice. And we go back and forth until we have a winner. Here we go. Good luck, everybody.
All right, good luck, guys. We'll take you back in television history. Who was the first former pro sports figure to appear as a panelist on What's My Line?
Oh, great one.
Jesus.
Anybody? All right. Here
What's
are the
that?
choices.
Y.A. Tittle, Phil Rizzuto, Johnny Unitas, or Leo DeRocher?
All right.
Pat, what do you
Pat,
got?
who was it?
Rizzuto.
I believe it was the Scooter.
It was the Scooter.
Nice. Good job, Pat.
1956. He was a guest panelist
Pat.
along with Arlene
Nice
Francis,
ending.
Bennett Cerf, and Dorothy Kilgallen.
Did they get it? Did they get the right
Yeah.
answer? Yeah.
Yeah, Pat said it. Pat nailed it.
Oh, no, I know he got it, but
Oh.
so Rizzuto wasn't one of the mystery guys, was he?
No, he was one of the mystery guests earlier in 1950. But
Okay.
56, he sat in as
He
a
sat on the
panelist.
panel. Okay.
Yeah.
Good choice there. All right, Gurgs, where are you going to be? Anything coming up?
I'm taking it nice and easy. I'll be at Landlubbers tonight.
Tonight.
Oh, very good. All right. Dave Gurggles Gergely.
We
And from Mike
pre-recorded
Lubie.
Mike's voice for the intro, and then I'll do the questions.
Very good. I mean, they may mistake you. I mean, there's some similarities.
There
They
is.
love him. They hate my voice there. One of their players always asks me to fix the microphone. No, it's just its fucking voice.
Don't you
So-
hate that joke by now?
It's not a joke. He thinks the microphone's broken. No, my voice sucks. So I'll enjoy
Don't worry
Gurggles
about it. That same guy was sitting at our table, and he didn't even listen to the questions. He's bullshitting with some lady there, and I couldn't hear the questions because of him talking. So
He
it's not
asks every week. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I've heard it my whole life. They'll get a nice respite from this, and they'll get that, which is a legendary voice in South Florida trivia and radio history.
And I'll make sure the Chronics don't win tonight somehow.
There you go.
Good job.
All right,
It's always a pleasure, man. Thanks very much. Dave Gurggles Gergely, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that just about took us to the wire here, Lubie. I was going to get into my in-depth analysis on this Buffalo Bills-Ravens game. Do you still want that, or is that like a waste of time?
You can if you have. Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, I actually wrote a couple of things down. I don't know if they're of any great significance to anybody, but yeah, we touched on a couple of them. The Bills gave up a lot of big plays in the running game, including one of 87 yards on the opening snap. I mean, you're not concentrating on Derrick Henry to get a handoff first play of the game, Lubie? What do you think? If they got burnt with some kind of play action down the field after a fake to Henry into the line, and then Jackson floats around in the backfield with a lot of time, finally finds somebody crossing the middle of the field down by the other team's 20. All right, so that could be it. But they just let this guy run. Henry doesn't run to the outside much. I mean, he does, but
he can. That's what's impressive about him for such a big back. He is straight line, but he's straight line. But when he gets ahead of steam, he's good, and he does go on the outside. I mean,
he's not likely to be running sweeps, Derrick Henry. So anyway, and supposedly because of criticism and some disparaging assertions that were being pointed at the Bills' defense, they are taking credit for bulletin board material for inspiring them to shut down completely the Denver Broncos running game, where outside of one scramble that they got from Bo Nix of 40-something yards. This is the old Tom Olivadotti thing. If you took away that 43-yard scramble, which still only gave them like 70-something yards rushing for the game, but they only gave up 36 yards to ball carriers that were actually attempting to execute some facsimile of a running game. And, they're just not good at this. And they got blown out by the Ravens earlier in the year. So does that influence you at all? Lousy run defense, in spite of what happened last week,
Wow.
and not the greatest defense overall, but they were dynamite last week. And I'm just thinking, I'm like you. I mean, that's a very difficult road spot for the Baltimore Ravens, even as good as they are, to land in.
Look again. The Bills being at home isn't everything. The Bills can lose at home, and if it was the Chiefs, I'd pick them to lose at home. But the Ravens, until they win in this spot, yes, last year they won in the playoffs. Yeah, they won against a team that really wasn't really a playoff team. The Texans were just finding their way. They demolished the Texans and then looked like garbage for 2.5 quarters versus the Chiefs before they lost in a close game to the Chiefs. They add Derrick Henry. It helps to the run game, but I think the Bills are going to do everything they can to stop the run game. I get it. The funny thing is the Bills actually have a good defense. Their run defense isn't a strength, but if they're just focusing on stopping the fucking run, then I think the run defense can be a strength. I look, wherever this game was played is who I would pick. I think this is a very, very close game. I think having it around one or either way is about right because these are two evenly matched. I think these are two of the top 4 teams in the league. And it sucks that the Chiefs get to play a fucking bullshit team and they get to play each other. But that is what you get for being a 1 seed. I just think whoever is home is going to win this game. So I think the talent's with the Ravens. I think the coaching's with the Ravens. I just think being in Buffalo this time of year is really hard to overcome.
This was one of those years where being the number 1 seed, big differential in the AFC.
Yes.
That's a certainty.
Yes.
And you deserved. I mean, you should attach some importance to the regular season and making every victory count. They didn't need to win the last one, which they didn't.
Nope.
But they found they literally. I mean, if you talk about the cliche, find a way to win, that was Kansas City pretty much all year long. A lot of times aided by some very bizarre and terrible officiating, and any number of just bonehead blunders by opposing coaches and teams. But that notwithstanding, they managed to put themselves in a position where they got an easy draw there.
Well, and by the end of the year, they were playing really good football. Like that's the thing. That was what was annoying about the Chiefs is they were winning when they were playing. By the end of the year, they were a fine-tuned machine, and they were starting to fucking bludgeon people.
Yeah,
and that's the real scary part. It's like, oh shit, now they're putting it together too, and they're like the opposite of the Dolphins, where they're healthy. Like they've been able to rest guys. They've been able to just sort of bullshit all year to right now where they're healthy and they're geared up for this. That's a whole other discussion. I don't think either of these teams would beat them, but I don't know. I think these are evenly matched teams. The Ravens have more talent. I think the Bills are better in the playoffs, and the Bills are at home. It's just being at home this time of year with the cold is fucking huge.
Yes, I would think, and I'm hoping it's one of those raw winter days in Buffalo.
Oh God.
I love adverse conditions. I really do. I mean, one of my favorite games ever, of course, was the Ice Bowl there between Green Bay and the Dallas Cowboys. And even though from the standpoint of artistry, it wasn't much, it was just so much fun to watch these guys literally on ice skates trying to navigate their way up and down the field. All right. We will see you guys tomorrow and later on the Mike Mayo Lunchbox at Batch Southern Kitchen, which would be a worthwhile adventure. I mean, venture around to the house if you have nothing to do. Come on out there because 1 o'clock, they do a tremendous job, these guys.
Yep.
It's among the favorites. It's a Let's Eat South Florida favorite.
Yeah, no, it probably set the records for most, not only posts, but most positive posts.
Yes. I rarely see anything negative. And if there is some minor complaint, and there weren't enough carrots in the coleslaw, usually, you can tell that they used the finest of shredded carrots and a whole one. This looked like 3/4. All right, go fuck yourself, lady. That would be your reaction, but it isn't it?
No, Kevin's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Please let me know if you would be willing to come back and give us another chance.
And in the meantime, would you like a vacation in Aspen? We have a ski lodge lined up for you. That's amazing. Yes. All right, we will see you then, and thanks so much for being with us. For Mike Lubie, I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you next time and Dave Gurggles Gergely. See you next time as we leave you now that.
The time.
You think you could ask for anything, and Kevin would go ahead and say, yeah, no problem.
He sort of has.
You want white truffles on it? Okay, we'll get you some. It's 9:03.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to